could easily be the craziest sports story ever. Why? Because before he played a single NBA game, Michael Jordan destroyed a team full of NBA All-Stars. Not once, not twice, 8 times. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, all of them were together to beat one college kid, and they just couldn't. Michael Jordan was good, but he hadn't yet shown everything he could be. He was just a kid from North Carolina who dreamed of one day making it to the NBA. He dreamed of becoming one of the best players in the world, but what he didn't know was that his dream was much closer and more realistic than he could ever have imagined. In a very different era, Michael had a unique opportunity. He had the chance to face the best players in the NBA before starting his professional career, all thanks to exhibition games where the best college players took to the court to face the legends. Many kids were nervous, you could even say intimidated, but not this future sports legend, who was more than ready to take on the challenge. Sit down and grab some popcorn, because today's story is the weirdest we've ever covered on the channel. It's not that Jordan wasn't hyped. He had his fair share of hype, like any dominant college player. Plus, it's easy to prove. Just look at what the New York Times said about the shooting guard in 1984. The pro scouts had tabbed Jordan, the College Player of the Year, a certainty to become a superstar. However, the 80s were the era of the big man. GMs believed that the players who were the cornerstones of franchises were always centers. They always had to build around one, and that's why they were the first to be picked in the NBA drafts. Jordan, a much smaller player, was destined to be picked in the top positions, but there were people who thought that he wouldn't be picked in the top 3. So, after completing his junior season at college in North Carolina, Jordan would have the perfect opportunity. He had already proven himself to be one of the best players in the nation, becoming the leading scorer in the 1983-1984 season in the entire ACC. But he also knew he was ready for the next level. After being nominated for every possible award in the NCAA, Jordan wanted a taste of professional basketball. But the good thing was that he knew he would have the opportunity to prove himself. You see, the Olympic Games have always been one of the greatest collective recognitions in world basketball. In fact, I would dare to say that it is the greatest of all. But back in the day, Team USA was so superior that it didn't even have to bring in professional players to win. By putting together a pool of college players, they were able to win the tournament practically whenever they wanted. And during the 1980s, that was the tradition. So Michael, one of the most highly touted prospects who had also been an NCAA champion, knew he was going to have a spot on that roster. In fact, he was going to be the leader. However, Team USA didn't have great cohesion. Each player came from a different college, playing a different system for a coach with a different mindset. So they needed a warm-up. And what better way than to have the experience of playing with the best players in the world, with those who played in the NBA. Before the 1984 Olympics, Team USA, made up of college players, faced a team full of NBA talent 8 times. Each time, the members of this team changed, demonstrating the depth of stars that the league was beginning to have during the 1980s. And in most of these games, there was a true professional basketball star leading the team. But even though they had faced the best players in the league, they didn't know that this college kid was really special. When June 1984 arrived, after the playoffs, everything fell into place. The Chicago Bulls were eager to see their new star in action, the new player destined to lead the team out of obscurity. And the truth is that in the first game, Michael Jordan would have to face the best player on the Bulls at the time, Orlando Woolridge. Now, to everyone's surprise, the young Team USA not only beat the NBA All-Stars, but they ran over them. Led by Michael and Patrick Ewing, another player of his generation, the professional players didn't stand a chance. Something similar happened to Game 2. This time, the team facing Team USA was stacked. Magic Johnson, Kevin McHale, Isaiah Thomas. This time the NBA team had to win, but they didn't. Led once again by Michael, the young Team USA won by 6 points. In Game 3, against players of the caliber of Danny Ainge, Quentin Daly, Clyde Drexler, and Bill Walton, the Olympic team prevailed again, this time by 13 points. At this point, fans were wondering, what the heck is going on? The situation didn't improve when the Celtics players came to the rescue. Game 4, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Henry Seasting, and the incredible addition of Isaiah Thomas. Well, it was once again to no avail. The Olympic team prevailed again by 15 points. In Game 5, the NBA team was weaker. With the exception of James Worthy, the team's leader, the rest of the players were less well-known names. And that night, of course, they didn't stand a chance either. Team USA won again, this time by 11 points. Game 6, same story. Dave Corzine, Terry Cummins, Doc Rivers, Mike Dunleavy. It was all for nothing because the Olympic team won it again by 16 points. It wasn't that the NBA players were having bad luck. It wasn't that they were losing close games that they ended up losing due to circumstances. The reality is that the Olympic team was beating them by double digits night after night. At least in Game 7, the All-Stars had a chance for the first time because on a team that included players like Rolando Blackman, Terry Cummins, Doc Rivers, and Michael Thompson, they came close to winning. However, they ended up succumbing to the 16 points Michael scored that night and lost by 5 points. It seemed that no matter what they did, the professional players would always come up against a wall they couldn't overcome. But how was Michael able to do it? How was he able to humiliate many of the best players in the league night after night? Well, let's take a look. This is what Michael did in one of the games we have footage of. Because in Game 8, in which the college kids faced a team with legendary players such as Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, Michael Cooper, Alex English, Kurt Rambis, and Larry Nance, Jordan was able to do this. First, he destroyed the NBA All-Stars defense with his mid-range touch, a tool he already had in his arsenal at only 21 years old. He also did it with his ability to convert transitions. Look how Michael sprints toward the other basket, crossing the court in seconds to finish with an amazing slam dunk that left Magic impressed. Then he continued to hammer the All-Stars defense with buckets like this one, catching and shooting from the low block, in a situation where Jordan would become absolutely lethal during his career. While doing all this, MJ kept driving to the paint with force, drawing fouls every time because the defense was unable to stop him in the air legally. And he also showed flashes of his playmaking ability, making good passes to his teammates' cuts, although they weren't always able to convert the opportunities. However, the only real reality was that there was nothing he did better than score. Every time he received the ball in the mid-range, especially if he was near the baseline, it was a bucket, and that caused the defense to overreact. Look at this play where Michael is completely surrounded by players in blue jerseys, and then he throws an unexpected last-second pass to Perkins. If any of his teammates missed, as in this play by Patrick Ewing, he was the first one ready for the offensive rebound. In fact, on this occasion, he followed up with a great putback dunk. Even though the All-Stars had all the experience in the world, having been through deep playoff runs every year, Michael was unstoppable. Whether from mid-range or in the paint, he always had an answer for the defense. And with these last 2 free throws, he put an end to the game. That night, Jordan not only scored 27 points, he not only proved that he was the best player on the court alongside true legends, he also won the game. With a score of 84-72, Team USA once again destroyed the image of professional players. And with that game, Jordan raised the record to 8 wins and 0 losses. And Pat Riley said this just after the games: "He's as gifted a player as any I've ever seen play ball." However, this would be worthless if he was unable to win gold for the United States in the following weeks. Of course, he did. Michael was the undisputed leader of a team that had great talent. Jordan, Chris Mullin, Patrick Ewing, Steve Alford, Sam Perkins, Alvin Robertson, they were vastly superior. But MJ's 17.1 points per game allowed Team USA to achieve an incredible record of 8 wins and 0 losses. A record identical to that achieved by the Olympic team against the NBA All-Stars. A record that demonstrated Michael Jordan's commitment to representing and leading his country against the rest of the world's best teams. But we know his time would come. After being drafted 3rd overall by Chicago, Jordan went on to have one of the best rookie seasons in NBA history. With averages of 28.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists with a field goal percentage of 52%, he won the Rookie of the Year award. Not only that, but he was also selected for the All-Star game in his rookie year and led the Chicago Bulls to a playoff spot for the first time since 1981. But that was just the beginning. The players Michael faced in those exhibition games became his legendary rivals: Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson. They really got to know Michael when they had the chance to face him. That's when they realized that this kid wasn't just a brilliant prospect. He didn't just have the potential to become one of the best players in the league almost instantly. He had the potential to become the greatest athlete of all time. And that's the end. For me, one of the most incredible stories in NBA history. A college kid was able to humiliate the league before he had even played a professional basketball game. So let me ask you this. What moment made you believe Michael Jordan was different from every other player? Was it this 8-0 sweep or something that happened later? Drop your GOAT moment in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If you live for legendary breakdowns, epic rivalries, and the moments that made basketball history, subscribe to First 5 Hoops and join a community of real basketball fans. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.